A place of worship turned into a scene of terror in the United States. A deadly shooting at the Islamic Center of San Diego, the largest mosque in the city, has left at least 5 people dead, including 2 teenage suspects.
What began as a peaceful morning at one of California's largest mosques quickly descended into chaos and fear.
2 this morning, we received a call of a runaway juvenile. After speaking with the mom,
the Islamic Center of San became the scene of a deadly mass shooting during one of the periods in the Islamic calendar, just days before Eid. At least 5 people were killed in the attack, including the 2 teenage suspects believed to be responsible.
To the tragedy, calling it a violent act of crime. And US President Donald Trump said he had been briefed about what he called a terrible situation.
Authorities say the violence unfolded rapidly, leaving worshippers scrambling for safety inside a place meant for prayer and community. Among the dead was a security guard, now being remembered as a hero after reportedly helping save lives during the chaos.
Crimes in the country. Earlier this month, the US Department of Justice arrested a commander of a foreign-backed militia for plotting attacks across Jewish centers in the country.
The attack, according to investigators,
tonight 3 people are dead, including a security guard at the largest mosque in San Diego, after authorities say 2 teenaged gunmen opened fire.
The suspects were 17 and 18 years old. Police say the 2 teenagers opened fire inside the mosque.
At the mosque in
Mr.
San
President,
Diego.
on the IRS,
They're giving a briefing on it a little while
justice.
at the mosque. They're giving a briefing, and it's a terrible situation. I've been given some early updates, but
before later dying inside a vehicle from what authorities described as self-inflicted gunshot wounds. The identities of the suspects have not been publicly released.
A deadly shooting incident has unfolded in the United States outside a mosque complex in the state of California. 2 teenage gunmen killed 3 people before being found dead from apparent self-inflicted gunshot wounds. Police is investigating the shooting as a possible hate crime.
San Police Chief Scott Wild said investigators are treating the shooting as a possible hate crime. The FBI has also joined the investigation.
Welcome to the News Hour. As we come on the air tonight, we're following a developing story out of San Diego, an attack at an Islamic center.
As authorities work to determine the motive behind the attack.
To target a place of worship. Our Islamic Center is a place of worship. People come to the Islamic Center to pray, to celebrate, to learn. Not only Muslims, but we have people from all walks of life.
Officials revealed that the mother of one of the suspects had contacted police earlier that morning.
In March, a man attacked a synagogue outside Detroit with a truck before dying in a confrontation with security guards.
And right now, what has kind of stood out to you overall from your investigative background as we've learned bits and pieces of the information about exactly...
With growing concerns about her son. Police said they initially received a report involving a runaway juvenile.
For help or talking to law enforcement and just giving someone notice that someone's behavior is making you feel a little uneasy.
As officers spoke with the mother, she began troubling details she had pieced together over time. She believed her son was suicidal. She also reported that several weapons were missing from the home, along with her vehicle and her son.
In Ravi, San Diego, police say 2 suspected gunmen who appear to be teenagers are dead, and 3 adult men, including a security guard, were killed at the Islamic Center of San Diego. Law enforcement saying they faced
evidence of possible extremism. Investigators later discovered what they described as disturbing evidence connected to the suspects. According to reports,
a non-firearm related injury while responding to the incident was transported there. Chicago police telling the I-Team they are monitoring the situation here, but there is no actionable intelligence in Chicago while they...
One of the teenagers had left behind a suicide note containing references to racial pride. Authorities also said anti-Islamic writings and hate speech.
p.m. at DC time, 12 a.m. in London.
Well, always great to be back on with you, Bev, and unfortunately it has to be in a situation just like this, but the reports that I'm seeing
were found on one of the firearms used in the attack. Those discoveries intensified concerns that the shooting may have been ideologically motivated. In the immediate aftermath, Several nearby schools and religious institutions were placed under lockdown as law enforcement searched the area.
There is religious hatred which may be happening on the other side of the world and ends up on our western shores at this stage.
And assessed potential threats. Political leaders respond. The attack drew swift condemnation from political and community leaders across the country. California governor expressed solidarity.
I always go back to guns don't kill people, people kill people. So, look, we'll have to see what the real drivers were in terms of what occurred here today. I'll just note, I'm not suggesting there's a connection here, but this Islamic Center has been in the news before. In fact, 2 of the 9/11 hijackers attended this mosque.
With the victims and condemned violence targeting religious communities.
Shifting our focus to San Diego now, 5 people have been killed after 2 teenagers allegedly opened fire at a mosque. Police have called the shooting incident as a hate crime. Law enforcement authorities say that
He stated that worshippers should never have to fear for their lives and emphasized that hate and intimidation against communities of faith would not be tolerated in California. San Metod Gloria also described the shooting as a horrific act of violence.
At the same time, the religious intolerance and the hate, unfortunately, that exists in our nation is unprecedented. All of us, we are responsible for spreading the culture of tolerance, the culture of love.
Meanwhile, US President Trump said he had been briefed on what he called a terrible situation. The Islamic Center later announced that it would remain closed until further notice, describing the tragedy as deeply painful and traumatic for both its congregation and the wider San community.
One of the deceased is a security guard that works there, and I think played a pivotal role in assisting from this being. Suspects at this point appear to have died from self-inflicted gunshot wounds. There were no officers involved in firing their weapons.
Following the shooting, authorities in other parts of the United States, including New York.
San Diego police say 2 teenagers killed 3 men at a mosque before killing themselves just a few blocks away.
Increased police deployments around mosques and religious centers as a precautionary measure.
Yeah, Tom, that's right. We know that multiple people were taken to nearby hospitals where they are still being treated, but authorities confirming again tonight that no school children were injured inside that Islamic Center. And as we push in here, you can see that they've established a wide perimeter around that building here on all sides.
The incident has also renewed broader concerns.
Our community members were taking the trip to make their Hajj, the pilgrimage. So next week is the 2nd largest holiday of the year for Muslims.
About the rise of ideologically motivated violence in the country.
Total deceased. So we have our 2 suspects that are deceased. We have 3 victims at the Islamic Center. All 3 are adults, for a total of 5 people that are deceased related to this incident. Because of the Islamic Center location, we are considering this a hate crime until it's not. And at this point, we're going to work closely with the FBI to make sure that we are matching all the resources that we need for this investigation.
Earlier in the month, the U.S. Department of Justice arrested a commander linked to a foreign-backed militia for allegedly plotting attacks against Jewish centers across the United States.
Breaking into the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints on Hall Street and setting the fire to prevent services from being held.
In another case earlier this year, a man in Mississippi was convicted for federal civil rights violations.
Hate has no home in San Diego. Islamophobia has no home in San Diego. An attack on any San Diegan is an attack on all San Diegans, and we will not stand for it in America's finest city.
After intentionally setting fire to a church. While attacks targeting places of worship remain isolated incidents, recent years have seen multiple faith communities confronted by acts of violence and intimidation.
Several of her weapons were missing. Her vehicle was missing, in addition to her son.
A nation searching for answers. As investigators continue examining the motives behind the San Mosque shooting, many questions remain unanswered. but the tragedy has already reignited a national conversation about security.
We do believe the security guard was able to help at least minimize
extremism and the safety of religious spaces in America.
Here, we've just heard from two senior law enforcement officials. When they searched that car where those deceased gunmen were found, they did find
For the worshippers who gathered that morning expecting peace and prayer, the scars left behind may last far longer than the investigation itself.